Twitter, a private Ripple webinar was leaked. What's within will surprise you. We will also examine projections for XRP. How will XRP be affected when all of this capital is introduced into the new system? We will examine Citibank's announcement that it is making a once-in-a-lifetime transition to interoperability. We will discuss the Fed and interest rates. ETFs will be the topic of our discussion. We will be discussing MasterCard. Guys, we're going to discuss staking and a lot more. If you receive any benefit, we have built API technology that encapsulates Ripple processing and makes the entire experience very easy to access and use, regardless of whether a bank is running Ripple internally or, for example, a corporate using Ripple through a hosted service. That's our stack then. Once more, the point is that blockchain isn't the only thing happening here. Thus, across the stack, blockchain and cryptocurrency thoughts are present. Our knowledge and experience have been applied very broadly to the whole range of tasks required to make a payment network function, including developing our own protocol, utilizing our cryptography for messaging, and integrating our cryptocurrency into the liquidity component. This is the Ripple stack. Isn't that right? Liquidity, rule set, governance, messaging, settlement infrastructure, and the Ripple API. These are a few of the businesses they collaborate with. These are a few of the nations that Ripple was clearly collaborating with. I take it that this was years ago as well. At the start of this, you have some of the largest banks, don't you? And keep in mind that this was most likely put together around the ages of 17, 18, 19. The precise date is unknown to me. I'm sorry, but Standard Chartered, Westpac, Santander, MUFG, and Bank of America already exist. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the Royal Bank of Canada. It's a little hazy, but let's continue. He wants to chat about a little bit more. We have a whole package that is truly prime time ready, which is one of the reasons we can conceive of having very significant traction globally. These are minor parts and experiments that might eventually become something. Therefore, keep in mind that Ripple was dealing with all of the regulatory ambiguity. At the time they were executing all of this, correct, in the day-to-day operations, they were unsure of what banks could and could not take on, as well as what risks they were willing to accept. Ripple had no choice but to, a la carte, you can choose this, that, and we'll sort everything out and make it work. Banks will, have a lot less risk when dealing with cryptocurrency now that stablecoin and digital asset regulation are coming to the US, and the advantages will exceed any remaining dangers. Allow me to play this now. I thought this was humorous when I played this, like this. I assume this person took my thumbnail, which it occurs a lot, but when you first play here, let me know. If you believe for this to be my thumbnail, please let me know. I'm intrigued. Here are some outrageous XRP forecasts. The depository trust and clearing firm has 3 quadrillion Swift 1.5 digital views. Therefore, let's assume that all Japanese banks use XRP. 25 trillion. They are jumping, taking quick thumbnails and taking digital viewpoints, a half quadrillion of the top 10 banks in the United States, tokenization of 12.5 trillion, Visa, 16 trillion, MasterCard, 9 trillion, and the derivatives market, 1 quadrillion. 1 trillion for American Express and 3 trillion for the recent agreement with Hidden Road. All of this adds out to $530 trillion 0 cents, or $5 quadrillion, which may be on the XRP ledger. To put it modestly, let's assume that XRP received just 1% of the 5.5 quadrillion volume. Its market capitalization would then be 55 trillion. Additionally, price is equal to market capitalization divided by supply. 55 trillion divided by 58 billion would be that amount. The price you get from circulating supply is $943, 0 cents. That amounts to 1%. Assume they received 10%. With a market value of 550 trillion, that translates to a final price of $9.44. Therefore, let's simply divide it in half. They receive 5%, that would come to $4.72 in the end. Thus, the total volume of these collaborations collapses. However, why would XRP be used by all of these various institutions? There are probably no payment systems in the world that only employ one thing. Because different people will have different mental processes and infrastructures, you will want to be able to employ a variety of things. It seemed like he was overcounting and double counting when he began adding up all these things, like 15 trillion and this and this and this. But everything was fine. I've already shown you some figures that indicate how much it would take to reach a $5,000 0 cents or $10 0 cents XRP level. It's much simpler in my opinion. The multiplier impact was not mentioned by him. I believe that many individuals are unaware of what that is. They proceed by dividing the amount by the total number of tokens. And that's essentially what we're examining. However, adding trillions of dollars to the XRP ledger wouldn't just increase the market capitalization by 1 trillion. The market value would increase by $25, 0 cents, $50, 0 cents, or $100 trillion, 0 cents. In any case, Citi, this older clip highlights a broader trend in the current day. You glance outside, you'll notice that the earth we've been on for the past 4 years is changed. Crypto is beginning to gain popularity. Members of Congress, the president, businesses, institutions, and banks have all expressed a desire to begin adopting cryptocurrency. We have been waiting for this moment. Keep in mind that many people prefer that banks and other organizations avoid cryptocurrency. Since the money's there, I want them to enter. You need all the money in the world to invest in that asset if you are in cryptocurrency because you want to acquire something early and hope that it will allow you to retire in 5 or 10 years. And that's why I'm hoping XRP turns into one of the new financial system's pillar assets. In my heart and soul, I already have that belief. All I'm waiting for is upper-level confirmation. Yes, Sydney, we are going through a once-in-a-lifetime transition. I don't even believe that this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. This was something I was considering. I was lying in bed that night thinking about how, although I often hear that cryptocurrency is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, let's go back a century. What was the chance 100, 200, 300, or 400 years ago? As far as I can tell, no one has ever been able to turn institutions into a financial asset. The reason for this is that banks were responsible for setting such financial assets hundreds of years ago. These private businesses are now entering the market and creating these very special distributed ledger technology networks, and they are effective, affordable, transparent, and efficient. What about the direction this is taking is bad, correct? The expenses that we would typically have to pay to transfer money from one location to another will be eliminated, saving us millions, billions, even trillions of dollars per year. As an alternative, we might have to pay pennies or less. And for the future of humanity, that is a very exciting time. Furthermore, I doubt that you or your child will ever have another opportunity like this in their lifetimes. Please let me know if you learn anything from what I'm telling you right now. Every day, I create 2 videos. I read the news, so come on up here. I share my thoughts with you. I share my innermost thoughts with you. This is a chance that won't come around again. There won't be another opportunity like this one, so how are you going to take advantage of this opportunity today? Correct? Don't worry if you can't think of an answer right away. I wanted you to go home today, but I kind of put you on the spot there. After putting your children to bed, doing your job, and putting your computer away, you sit there thinking about the day. What will you do tomorrow to make the most